Welcome everyone to this Easter cooking class. My name is Isabelle and I'm the founder of Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is an animal advocacy group, a nonprofit that is all volunteer. And we also have a little micro sanctuary here in Los Altos. We have right now about 10 chickens, 1 turkey, and a dog. And all of them have been rescued from either the egg industry or the meat industry. What I do usually is I go to school, community center, and talk about farmed animal. And one of the cool thing about, talking about those issues is to talk about the solution, which is food, which is plant-based food. So this is why this cooking demo I'm doing those cooking demos. Today I'm going to focus on finger food that will be for Easter, which is coming very, very soon. It's this weekend, right? Yes. So before I start, just a couple of logistics. I don't see the chat, so if you have questions while I'm talking, please just unmute yourself and ask questions as we go. And if you don't talk, just mute yourself so there is no background noise, interfering. Okay, so what's on the menu tonight? There is 3 main items. One, I'm going to start making pigs in blankets. So of course, there will be no pigs, but I will show you how I replace that. The second one is going to be deviled eggs with no eggs, of course. And the last one is going to be an egg salad that I'm going to serve on a little cute boats. And so I'm going to go through those 3 dishes. And again, ask me question, ask some comments, anything is good. So let's start with the pigs in a blanket. So the little pigs, which are usually little sausages, are going to be little baby carrots. So those baby carrots, you want to go by kind of the thicker one, not the super thin one. And then you're going to roast them. So those carrots actually have already been roasted. I put them in the oven like 450 degrees for about 20 minutes. And I cover them with an aluminum foil. So you toss them in a little bit oil, a little bit salt, cover them with an aluminum paper, and then put them in the oven for about 20 minutes until they are tender. If you don't want to use oil, you could just steam them until they are tender. That works fine too. Okay, so I am going to so I have only very few here because I already made most of them. I already prepared most of them, but I'm going to walk you through how to do that. So they are roasted, so they are cooked and they are tendered. Actually, you can see. You see, I can put easily my knife in it. Okay, so I'm going to put them in a little bowl. I'm going to use paprika, smoked paprika, because what is in the taste of those little sausages that we like so much is really the smoked flavor. And smoked paprika is a great spice to use for that. So I'm going to use half a teaspoon there. Oh, by the way, all the recipes, so you don't have to take notes right now. All the recipes, I'm going to send that to you probably tomorrow or the latest, on Thursday with the recording of the video. So you can just enjoy the show. Okay, so I'm tossing my little carrots. Whoops, come back inside. Okay, so here are my little pigs. Now I'm going to put them in a blanket. So the blanket I use is a puff pastry. And there is this great vegan puff pastry that you can buy already made, because puff pastry is one of the things that's really hard to make. But you can buy them and they are frozen. And it's from Pepperidge Farm. And the 2 sheets of pastry come in that one box. So accidentally vegan, that's great. So it's frozen. I thaw it before that demo. So I put it on a slightly flour surface. What's important is here I'm using my cutting board and not my silicone mat. And you're going to see very soon why, is because I'm going to cut on it. So I'm going to spread that. Oops. So have any one of you know already, already used that puff pastry or has experience with it? Because I think it's a great one. I'm doing all my quiche. There's a lot of French dish that use puff pastry. So I really like this one. Okay, so I kind of make it, long and a bit thinner. So now I'm going to take one of those carrots, kind of cut it a bit smaller, a bit shorter, because I want the carrots to, go on both sides out. Then I'm putting my carrot. I'm rolling it. When it's rolled, I cut it. And here I have just a little bit of water so I can seal. You see what I'm doing there? I'm sealing the little blanket. And now I'm putting it on my tray. So I have a tray where there is a parchment paper, because that will go directly in the oven. So let's do another little carrot. And this recipe is really cool because everybody likes anything in puff pastry. And that little smoky flavor, it's so good that even if you have people that are not vegan or, they will love it. The only thing is when you cook the carrots for the first time, when you roast them or steam them, make sure they are just tender. Don't overcook them, because now we're going to put them back in the oven. So I'm sealing the little blanket. Making this one a little bit longer. And this is actually something, if you have like a family over for Easter, it's a fun thing to do together in the kitchen. I remember at my home when I grew up, and it was a holiday, there was a lot of family getting together. And one of the things we spent a lot of time in was in the kitchen. And actually it was a fun time. It was not just, a chore. It was the place where we all chat and catch up with each other. If you have kids, my cameraman is, don't die yet. I need you until the end of the demo. And also if you have kids, this is really a fun thing to do with them, because like the rolling, what I'm doing right now, would be fun. Okay, well. Okay. You have only 4 people that joined? No? That's good. Don't move, don't move, don't move. Just. Yeah. Okay, excellent. Okay, 2 more. One more, you say? Oh, so it fits in there? Okay, so look at all my little carrots in their blanket. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is add little sesame seed, the roasted sesame seed. It add a little nice umami flavor. To get them to stick on the dough, I'm putting some water on the dough. You could use a brush. I use my hands a lot in the kitchen. Okay, and now that's the thing. You basically try to press those little guys on it.
Isabel, what kind of seed are you putting on?
This is sesame seeds.
Okay.
And they're roasted already.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so now I'm going to put that in the oven. So the oven has been preheating at 450 degrees. So I'm putting that in, and that's going to be there for about 12 minutes. I mean, between 10 and 15. So I'm going to do 12. So put a kitchen timer of 12 minutes. That minute, yes. Okay. So while this is cooking, well, that can stay here. So while this is cooking, I'm going to show you how to do the deviled eggs. So we move this side of the kitchen. So I already have roasted so I'm using the deviled egg. The way I do it is I'm using potatoes. Those tiny little, well, so if I put them back together, those are small little golden Yukon potatoes. I like them because they kind of, the shape of an egg, small egg, and they're thin, their thick skin is pretty thin, and that's important too. So you cut them in half, put a little bit oil and salt, and then you put them face down on a baking sheet, and you put that in your oven for about 30 minutes at 350 degree Fahrenheit. Okay. If you don't want to use oil, you can't just put them in the oven. They're going to be too dry. So what you could do is steam them first, and then put them in the oven to roast. So that would work too. Okay, so those are basically half an egg. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop them. I mean, if you have something to scoop, like the thing for the for the melons, that would be great. I don't have one, so I use my teaspoon measurer, and that works fine too. So I basically carve a little hole. Don't go too deep, and kind of leave, I don't know, 1/4 inch all around. So this is if you want the white of my egg, right? So I'm going to do that, and I'm saving the potato, the flesh of the potato, because I'm going to use it to make the filling. So you want, of course, to wait that your potato are a little bit cooler, because you can hold them. You can't take them right out of the oven. And this is a dish that's anyway best at room temperature. You see, I'm carving them. And be careful not to go through. You really want some flesh at the bottom also. And if you have one of those beautiful plates, especially made for deviled egg, that's, you can totally serve it in it. I did throw mine away when I became vegan, and that was a mistake. So I had to ask my friend if she had one. So that's hers. Okay, so look at that. I have all my, if you want, egg white ready. So I made my little potatoes. So now we are going to do the filling, the thing usually you put yolk and mayo and other things. So the filling is going to be based on cashews. So to make it really nice, creamy and nice. So I have a 1/4 cup of cashew that I've been soaking for a couple of hours. I'm going to drain that, put that in my blender. I'm going to take my recipe just to make sure I have the right proportion. So a 1/4 cup cashew, a 1/4 cup broth, which is what I already prepared. Any vegetable broth is good. So the cool thing about turmeric is it gives this beautiful yellow color. So that's perfect to make something look like an egg yolk. So I put a 1/4 cup, teaspoon, 1/4 cup would be way too much, 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. I'm going to use a teaspoon, this is a teaspoon, of lemon juice. So I'm blessed with a lemon tree in my yard. So I just go outside and squeeze a fresh lemon. So 1 teaspoon. And then I am going to put some salt. So you could use regular salt, but if you have this salt, this Indian black salt, which is also called namak, we can use in it maybe better. This is, so it's called black salt, but it's not black, it's actually kind of pinkish. And the cool thing about that salt is it's very sulfurous in the smell. And guess what? Eggs also, have this certain smell. So I'm going to put 1/2 teaspoon of that. And if you don't like the smell of egg, then don't put that. Put regular salt. But for a lot of people, egg, especially an hard-boiled egg, has that smell coming with it. So that's a great salt to use. And I'm just going to put some pepper. And now I'm going to use the magic of my blender and blend that at high speed. And it's going to turn that into basically a creamy egg yolk. So while I'm going to do that, it's going to be really loud, and actually Zoom usually is going to cut off the sound. So don't worry, I'm coming back. Okay, so, I mean, that's the magic. I mean, I'm sure you already have blended cashew, but I'm always impressed how you can transform cashew into something creamy. So that's not done. All those potatoes that we saved, I'm putting inside. And it's going back in the blender. I mean, just more like to mix things, not so much to really blend hard. I'm just going to give it a little. Okay, here we go. I have my, the contents of my deviled egg. Now for it to be really nice, I'm going to put it in the fridge for about half an hour. Okay, so follow me. I'm going to do my fridge. That goes in the fridge. Well, and ta-da! So I did prepare another batch earlier on. So this one is all ready to be used. It has been probably for an hour in the fridge right now. And I already put it in my piping. Oops. Is that the right one? Ew, 1 sec. It's not the right one. I have so many little pieces. There we go. Okay, so in there is the mixture we just did with the cashews, the potatoes, the turmeric, and all the good stuff we put in there. So now I'm just going to pipe that into the eggs. Starting to look very feisty. How festive. The cook that is feisty. Feisty. As you can figure out, English is not my first language. I'm from France, and I learned to cook with my mom, and it was really a family thing. And every Sunday or every holidays, we were, ooh, look at that. So pretty. Well, actually, I use it all. That's great. Okay. So now, if I want to do a final touch, I'm going to use some paprika. And this time it's not smoked. It's just like the regular sweet paprika. Just so it looks pretty. And yeah, there we go. And then to make it very, very pretty and very festive, I have some dill, and that I just put a little piece of dill on top. And that looks totally ready for Easter. That's a big piece. Oh, I hear the little pigs already. Let me finish that. Yes, coming. Okay, and here, I mean, you serve it at room temperature, it's best. It could be cold, that would be nice also, but that's a perfect finger food you can pass around. Don't you want to eat it? It looks so good. Okay, so we've done the deviled eggs. I'm going to put them over there and have a look at our, yes. Ooh, they look nice. I think they're good. You would wait a little bit more, a couple of minutes? Okay. But I don't want them to burn also. So a couple of minutes. I have to put the timer otherwise. Okay. So next, we push all this around. Do you have any questions? Yes, I'm looking there, but before I move on to our third dish, or maybe actually I will do this one.
This is Jan here, Isabel.
Yes.
Could you just review a little bit? Is that a pipette? I just Googled for it. That pastry,
What,
it feels like a
this?
pastry filler. Yeah. I mean, is that?
Yeah, it's a pastry filler. That's where when I do icing on a cupcake or something, that's what I use.
Is that also called a pipette, or is that what you called it? No. Pastry filler.
Wait. Let me get the box.
It's called a. I do sort of.
I can send you a picture. Dessert decorator. That's the name.
Okay. Thank you.
It's like the same thing with the bag.
But it's exactly the same thing as a bag. It's just I find the bags so messy. I always put that. Right. It goes from the top. At least this one is closed, so it only goes one way.
Looked pretty slick to me.
Yeah, it's nice. It's just a bit more cleaning sometimes to do because you have to undo everything, but Okay, well, let's go back inside the oven. I need my gloves. Oops, where are they? Thank you. Oh, I think they look good. So I'm going to switch off the oven, switch off the timer, clear. Yes. Okay. So now, I don't know where I have my other, oh, it's here. Well, I'm going to take one just to show you. I mean, look at that. That really look like a little sausages in a blanket. So those are actually nice to serve. I mean, not just out of the oven, but they're nice, a little bit warm and still, nice and crispy. So I'm serving them on a plate. And that's another great thing, as a finger food, you go around with this or put it, on your table. You will be surprised. I actually make way more than what I did. Here I did about 1 pound of carrots. Depending on how many you are, you may want to go for, a bit more because those go so fast. And they are so pretty. And I usually serve them with a little, cup of mustard, Dijon mustard on the side. So you can dip that in it. Really good. And if you want to look even fancier, what you could do is use this old-styled mustard where you have the grain in it. Okay. So here are our little pigs in a blanket. I wish I could share that with all of you because it smells good and it's really tasty. So let's put that back in the oven so I have some space. So we have 2 of our dishes so far. Now I'm going to do the third one, which is an egg salad. So what I'm going to use, excuse me, Peter, I'm going to take my tray with all my mise en place. So the egg salad, I'm going to use tofu as a base. And basically it's going to be tofu with mayo and a few other ingredients. But mayo is one of the main ingredients. So you could, of course, go and buy, some mayonnaise, or you could make your own. And since we do have time, I really want to show you how to make your own because it is so easy. I mean, I'm not buying any mayo anymore. So you use a jar, and that's kind of important. I mean, I like to do my mayo in the jar where it's going to stay, to be stored in my fridge. So it's a jar that actually has a cover. Okay, so I'm using soy milk. And that's very important. Do not replace with another milk. Soy has a special property here in that recipe that you will not really find with another milk. And this is the milk from Trader Joe, which is really just organic soybean and water, nothing else. I really like that milk to cook. So I'm putting half a cup of milk in the jar. One thing that's very important about actually all the ingredients for that mayo is that they have to be at room temperature. So the milk has been outside, has been out there for a while. The mustard that I'm going to use, everything is at room temperature. And that's really critical because if you want the emulsion to happen, this is key to the emulsion. So you all know that to make an egg when baking, one way is to put apple cider vinegar or some acid, it could be lemon too, into the soy milk. And that actually curdle the soy milk. And I love those kind of magical things. So I'm putting 1.5 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. So this is a half, 1, 2, 3. And I don't know if it's going to show very well on the video, but it's already thickening. I don't know if you see better. No, you can't. Okay. But basically, it's curdling, and the milk is starting to be, thicker. Okay. I'm putting 1 tablespoon of mustard. I'm using Dijon mustard. So 1 tablespoon, and then some salt, about half. Do I still have a half? What's that? A quarter. So 1, 2. And then, of course, this is a mayo, so there is oil. So I'm going to put a cup of oil. So, when you do a regular mayo, it's like an egg. And then you slowly stir the oil in it while beating the whole thing. So it's a new bottle. I'm using safflower oil. You want a neutral oil here. You don't want olive oil. It's going to be too strong. You could add a little bit of olive oil if you wanted to, but not the full cup. It would be too strong. And for those that are, appalled about the amount of oil I'm putting there, you could do some mayo without oil. It's actually based on tofu. Most of the recipe, there's also, I find some with aquafaba. So you could Google for, no oil vegan mayo, and you will find many recipes. Okay, so I have the milk, the mustard, the apple cider vinegar, the salt, and the oil. Now what I'm going to do is take my high-speed plunger, my blender on a stick, plug it, and you have to watch closely. So I don't know, Peter, how much you can zoom, but this is going to go fast. I'm going to basically emulsify that mixture. So ready? There we go. I have mayo. Can't be easier than that, really. Well, except maybe buying it, but look at that consistency. I mean, I'm stuck here. But look at that consistency. Things are everywhere. I mean, this is really like mayo. And it is good too. And the good thing is, you know, you cover it, put that in the fridge, and it will stay for a week or two. So that's, you know, that's super easy. Okay, so let's now that I have mayo, let's make an egg salad. I'm going to wash my hands. Okay, so move that a little bit around. So I see there's still water. So the key is going to be my tofu. I have about 14 ounces of extra firm tofu. And that's going to be my base. I need a spoon, sorry. Yeah.
Did you put the tofu through a press first or just out of the
No, I did not. Because my egg salad is going to be really moist. So actually having it, you know, with some moisture in it is good.
Okay, thanks.
But that's a good question, because usually most of the time I do press my tofu because I want the tofu to absorb. Oh, talking about absorbing, I should start with a mixture of turmeric. Okay, so again, I'm using turmeric to make the egg yellow. So I have 3/4 of a teaspoon of turmeric in that bowl, and I want to activate the color. So I have some hot water here. I think I can use that. No, maybe this one. So I'm putting a tablespoon of hot water. And here really, and I'm going to let it sit a little bit, but I'm making basically paint. I'm making the coloring for the tofu. So I'm back at, you know, squashing my tofu. Maybe my body is going to be too small, actually. Yeah, I'm going to take a bigger bowl. So it's going to be a bit less nice, but at least it will fit. No, that's fine like that. At least the fact that it's transparent is going to be easier to see what's going on. Okay, so I don't want it like to be totally mushed, but I don't want big pieces. So that looks pretty good. I mean, you're really going for, I mean, if you ever done tofu scramble, that's the consistency you're going for. Okay. So now I'm going to color it with my beautiful turmeric paste. And actually, I don't want to lose any, so I'm putting some tofu in there. Getting everything. And now I'm going to mix until it's really like a uniform yellow. And turmeric is really good for you too. So it's not only pretty. Okay, I think I have it mostly. What do you think? Is it good? Okay, so now time to add the other ingredients. So I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of mayo. So again, going to use, you could use one that you bought or the one you just made. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. I'm going to put some salt. So same thing as before. You could use regular salt or use this black salt. And I'm going to use that because it's really gives that nice, nice. It's very relative. I like that smell before I was vegan. Now it's weird to have the smell of egg. But and I put 1/2 teaspoon. So this is a 1/4 teaspoon, so 2. And this is really funny. The salt does not smell anything when it's dry, but as soon as it becomes in contact with something moist, you can start to smell the sulfur. Okay, a little bit of pepper. Okay. And then I add some fresh dill. So I have about a 1/4 cup of chopped fresh dill that I'm adding in. And I have some pickles. So ideally you go use dill pickles. I didn't add them, so I put some cornichon, which are, all those little French pickles. So I have that I chopped in tiny little pieces. And now I'm going to mix all this. Oh, I forgot the carrot. I was like, oh, what's that? This is 1 small carrot grated in tiny, tiny little pieces. So that's a pretty actually healthy mix because, well, okay, you remove the mayo, but except for the mayo, you have the tofu, you have 2 veggies. Look at that. I have an egg salad. And now you could use it really the way you want. You could put that in a sandwich, really tasty. You could put that on crackers to serve. But what I'm going to do to make them pretty is use endives. Endives? Okay, so I don't know if you know those. This is maybe a bit less popular here in the US, although I was able to buy some, but we use that so much in Europe. They're kind of a little bitter, which is, they are, I like them when they're raw. You can make a salad out of them, but you can cook them also. Some people grill them, but then they become even more bitter. So that I don't like them so much cooked. So, but what is very nice is when you take the leaves, look how pretty. it makes a little boat. So this is a perfect little place to put finger food on it. So I put, and those endive come in different color. You have some that are like red. Those yellow one are the more common one you will find. And don't you find it just pretty to all your food like that and then just, you know, enjoy it? Another thing you could use if you don't find those little endive is cucumber. You could, you know, slice a cucumber like in thick slice, kind of scoop the seeds out, and put that inside. So it's like a little cucumber cuts. Cucumber. Well, that's hard. But that's also very springy cucumber. Okay, so I don't know. You guys have any questions so far? You're very quiet.
Oh, I'll be unquiet. I keep asking questions. What does endive taste like? I have to confess, I've never had it.
So it's very crunchy. So the texture is very crunchy, like the hard part, the core of an iceberg salad, if you want.
Okay. Uh-huh.
But it has a very nice taste, a little bit bitter, but it's really hard to describe this. But do you have a better? The best is go find an endive at your market and try.
They have it in my grocery store, so I have no excuse, I guess.
Okay, so you've seen them. Yeah,
I've seen them. I've just never been adventurousness enough. You could also slap this between a couple pieces of bread too.
Yeah, absolutely, and make a sandwich or little crackers.
Yep.
I mean, you could really. I like those guys because it's just pretty to serve.
Sticking with finger food.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But the content, I mean, the egg salad itself, you use it the way you want. You will.
It sounds really good on cucumbers. I love cucumbers. Eat cucumbers.
Yeah, cucumbers are like also crispy, so this is nice. Okay. I think I'm going to stop here because I'm running out of prepared leaves. But so here is the third dish. So I'm going to put it with the other one. Okay, so here you have, so the egg salad is honestly the easiest, the faster to do. I mean, you saw I made everything from scratch in front of you, even if you include making the mayo. So very easy to do, does not require any time in the fridge. I mean, you could now put that in the fridge, of course, until it's time to serve. But so that's the easiest. The carrots, the little pigs in the blanket, I mean, you need the cook time of the carrots first, and then with the puff pastry. But basically, in an hour, you have that ready, and you can keep them. So actually, what you could do is like what I did is I had everything ready. I cooked them already, wrapped them in the blanket, and then waited before I put it in the oven. So you could, get everything ready before your guests arrive, and only like 15 minutes before you want to serve them, pop them in the oven. So, so that's pretty easy to prepare and then to serve. Those guys need some cooling time for the content. So you could just prepare them. Actually, prepare them, put them in the fridge, and then put them in a room temperature, maybe 15 minutes really before serving it. So Hani, you're ready for Easter. Any question? I want to show you something also. But any questions so far? Is anyone going to try one of those recipes? So what I want to show you is this cookbook. It's from Isa Chandra Moscovich. She's one of my favorite vegan chefs because all the food, oh, like that. Okay. All her food, really match the food I like to eat. So that's the main reason. It's pretty easy to do, but at the same time, it looks quite fancy. So actually, those little pig in the blanket, it's in her book. She called that the Snuggie Bunny, which I found very cute, like little bunnies in a blanket. And the recipe for the eggs, for the deviled eggs, is also coming from that book. She called it devilish potatoes. So that's a book I really like because it's also so it's called a vegan holiday cookbook, and it's sorted by holidays. So you say, okay, well, Easter is coming. What can I prepare? Or this is Valentine's Day, or Cinco de Mayo. And she has all the things, kind of fitting for that occasion. Very fun, nice to serve food, and really pretty easy to do also. So if you want, check this one out. So yeah, I think we've covered. I mean, I gave you like 3 options you can play and try. Not only for Easter. I mean, I think all of them. I mean, the egg theme is a bit more Easter, but you can eat them all the time. This is great actually for New Year. I use those a lot. The little piggy in the blankets because it's just so good. So. Questions? Go ahead. Jan, if you have something.
Oh, no, I've asked so many questions already. I just think it all looks delicious, and
Thank you.
you make it look so easy, Isabel. You're just such a good cook.
Thank you. Thanks.
Can you put the book in the description?
Yes, I could do that. Yes, I
Okay.
will. Not in the chat because I don't have like the computer ready, but I will send actually tomorrow or Thursday the latest. I will send you the recording and all the recipes I made, and I could put the book there. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you remind me of home. I grew up on the border to Alsace.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, yeah, Mulhouse, close to Mulhouse.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, so it's so nice to watch you, to listen to you.
Oh, thank
And
you.
so I mean, I'm familiar with the what's it called, endive.
Yes.
And so I'm familiar.
A wheat loaf? Is that the way you call it? I know in Belgium they call it wheat loaf. And
No, endive,
you call
endive,
that endive? Okay. Yes.
endive.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Nice to watch you. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you so
Definitely
much.
make the egg salad. That sounds good.
And really so easy to make. I mean, you saw it's like so.
And the mayo. It's mayo is expensive. The vegan mayo is expensive to buy.
It is expensive to buy, and if you look at the ingredients, there is a ton of ingredients in there, so it's like shelf stable and everything.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
here, I mean, I had 4 ingredients,
Mhm.
and I mean, it stays about a week or 2 in the fridge.
Yeah, cool.
Which is great. Yeah.
Very
And my
good.
husband is from Belgium, and he eats so much mayo that actually never had time to spoil.
We like mayo, vegan mayo in this house, and I buy it I have an immersion blender in glass containers. I just have no excuse not to.
Okay.
Mhm.
So send me a picture of your next batch of mayo. Yeah. So so that's that's a lot of good things, and easy to make delicious food, that does not involve, killing pig or, using those poor hen layers. So
How did you call that tool that you use to make the mayo, that mixer?
Oh, it's called an immersion blender. Immersion is because it goes totally, it's immersed into the whatever you're blending.
Immersion blender. Okay,
Yes.
I have to get that.
Or sometimes they call it a blending stick. You
Blending
will
stick.
find both.
Mm.
And what I have is like a super powerful one, is the one from Vitamix, which is really powerful. And yeah.
Okay.
I got mine for making soups. I love
Yeah.
making soups.
Yeah.
Oh
and-
yes, yeah.
I use for making soup. I use when I make my own bolognese sauce. You know, I use soy crumble, and I like to mix everything so you don't have. It's really nice.
Oh yeah.
I use it when I make jam in the summer, when I have like all those apricots that, you know, are in my big, you know, a pot. And at some point if I don't want the pieces, I just go through with the immersion blender. Yeah, really nice. Okay, well, I would like to thank you so much for coming.